Nyla Thomas thought she was getting a simple fake marriage.
Marry me and I'll pay for your grandfather's treatment.
It's just business, right?
Right.
But little did she know the viper's nest she was coming into.
You may try to better yourself, Nyla, but you will never catch up to your betters.
I make the rules, Nyla. You follow them.
They beat her down, took her dignity. What they never expected was
that she would fight back.
Find out what happens when you push a woman too far.
Chapter 1. 103. Jacob. This belongs to me now. Nyla's words drop like a bomb. The entire boardroom descends into chaos. Voices overlap, creating a cacophony of outrage and disbelief that makes my temples throb. I need a moment to process this myself, but showing weakness isn't an option. Ladies and gentlemen, my voice cuts through the noise. No one listens. I slam my palm against the mahogany table. Enough! The room falls silent, all eyes turning to me. Harold Blackwood, our oldest board member, tugs at his collar, his face flushed red. This is preposterous, Jacob. She can't possibly... We will reconvene in 48 hours, I say, straightening my tie. I will consult with legal in the meantime. But, Margaret Chen starts. 2 days. That's final. I gather my papers, maintaining the steady composure expected of a stone. Inside, my stomach churns. This meeting is adjourned. Your father would never have let this happen, Mr. Harper mutters as he passes. I tighten my teeth together, remaining silent while the board members exit one by one. Glancing upward, I catch Nyla grinning at their retreating forms. As stated before, we'll see you in 48 hours, Miss Thomas, I say as she shoots me a fiery look, but I'm already stepping through the doorway before she has a chance to respond. My footsteps echo down the corridor as I make my way to my office. The leather of my shoes squeaks against the polished floor, matching the pounding in my temples. I barely have time to pour myself a scotch before they start filing in. This is unprecedented, William says, closing the door behind him. He's followed by Trixa and Hilda, both wearing expressions that could curdle milk. She played us, Hilda says, pacing near the window. That little witch played us all. Language, Mother. I take a sip of scotch, letting the burn steady my nerves. Though I can't say I disagree with the sentiment. Trixa perches on the edge of my desk. How did we miss this? The formula was right under our noses the whole time. Because we were too busy watching her fail, William says, his voice carrying that edge of disappointment I know so well. We underestimated her. The question is, I set my glass down, what do we do now? We fight, Hilda snaps. We tie this up in litigation for years. And risk losing everything? Trixa shakes her head. We need that formula. William's shoes creak against the floor as he approaches my desk. Son, this could destroy everything we've built. I'm aware. I lean back in my chair, studying the amber liquid in my glass. But maybe there's another way. What are you thinking? Trixa asks, her eyes narrowing. I'm thinking we need to be smart about this. Fighting Nyla head-on isn't going to work. She's proven that. Trixa's fingers drum against my desk. What if this is just about her grandfather? We could offer better care, maybe. It's not. I shake my head, remembering the steel in Nyla's eyes. This is about more than that. Jacob's right, William says, settling into one of the leather chairs. His normally pristine suit is wrinkled from the long board meeting. She's shown more determination than half our executive team combined. As much as it pains me to agree with you, Jacob, Hilda crosses her arms, her perfectly manicured nails digging into her sleeves. She does have the formula, Marcus's formula. That's what I don't understand, Trixa interjects, pushing off from my desk. Marcus barely knew her. Why would he trust her with something this valuable? It must be a mistake. Surely he meant to give it to me. Maybe he knew something we didn't. I tap my fingers against the desk, pieces clicking into place. Or maybe... What? Hilda turns from the window. Maybe it wasn't about trust at all. The scotch in my glass catches the light as I lift it. Maybe it was about something else entirely. Trixie shakes her head. Like what? That's what we need to find out. I down the rest of my drink. Because Marcus Swan never did anything without a reason. Trix's face goes pale. So everything she's claiming is probably true, William finishes. He looks at me, his expression grave. We need to take this seriously, son. Very seriously. The scotch suddenly tastes bitter in my mouth. I push it away, my mind racing through possibilities, each worse than the last. Let's not forget what we've put her through, Hilda says, her long fingers coming to rest in her lap. The girl's been cleaning our toilets, serving our drinks, watching us live the high life while she struggled to make ends meet. My stomach twists. I've seen the darkness in Nyla's eyes lately, the way she carries herself like she's ready for war. A position you put her in, I say with clenched teeth. She's not just angry, Hilda continues. She's wounded, and wounded animals are the most dangerous. What exactly are you suggesting? I ask, though I already know the answer. We need to neutralize the threat. Hilda turns from the window, before she decides to burn everything to the ground. She wouldn't, Trixie starts. Wouldn't she? William cuts in. Think about it. We've humiliated her, degraded her. And now she has the keys to the kingdom, Hilda says, both literally and figuratively. So what's the play? I lean forward, my elbows on the desk. We need to contain her, Hilda says. Find her weakness. Everyone has one. She's not some hostile takeover we need to crush, I protest. No! Hilda's lips curve into a cold smile. She's much more dangerous than that. She knows our secrets, our vulnerabilities, and now she has the power to use them. There has to be another way, Trixie says softly. There isn't. Hilda's heels click against the floor as she approaches my desk. We either control this situation, or we watch everything we've built crumble. The weight of their expectations settles on my shoulders. I know what they want, what they need, me to do. But the thought of moving against Nyla makes my chest tight. Jacob, William says, his voice carrying that note of authority I've never been able to resist. We need to act. Now. Suddenly the door swings open without a knock. Nyla strides in. Her chin tilts up, dark eyes sweeping across the room with the confidence of someone who knows they hold all the cards. My breath catches. She's no longer just a nurse, and she certainly isn't a maid. She's beautiful and terrifying. Don't stop plotting on my account. She folds her arms and rests on the doorframe like she doesn't have a care in the world. Hilda's fingers clench on her armrest. This is a private meeting. Is it? Nyla's smile doesn't reach her eyes. Funny. I thought as majority stakeholder, I had access to all meetings regarding company business. William shifts in his chair. Nyla, perhaps we could schedule... No. She pulls out her phone, tapping the screen. My schedule's quite full these days. Now works best for me. The air crackles with tension. I can't take my eyes off her. The subtle arch of her eyebrow, the determined set of her jaw. She's magnificent in her fury, and it kills me that we're on opposite sides of this war.
Chapter 104, Nyla. I stand in the doorway, letting my presence sink in. The tension in Jacob's office is delicious, like honey dripping down my spine. My heels click against the hardwood as I step inside, savoring each face before me. I believe you're discussing my inheritance. My smile widens as William's jaw tightens. The information Marcus left me was quite enlightening. We're just debating the veracity of your claims, Jacob says. I pull the documents from my bag, letting them fall onto Jacob's desk with a satisfying thud. Marcus left everything to me. The patents, the research, all of it. Fully notarized and legally binding. Jacob's eyes go wide as he sees how ironclad my position is. Hilda turns to me, a burning question in her eyes. The second key. Where did you get it, Nyla? Second key? Trixie leans forward, her brow furrowed. The pieces click together in my mind like a deadly puzzle. My smile grows sharper as I meet Hilda's gaze. Interesting that you know about the second key, Hilda. I don't recall mentioning it to anyone. Hilda starts, but I cut her off. You orchestrated the break-in at Kyra Knight's apartment. The silence in the room thickens. What break-in? Jacob asks with concern. Oh, you didn't know? I perch myself on the edge of his desk, crossing my legs. Someone ransacked Kira's apartment a while back. The police thought it was a random burglary, but nothing valuable was taken. They were looking for something specific, weren't they, Hilda? William's face reddens. Hilda, what is she talking about? It was on your desk, I continue, watching Hilda's complexion pale. You do have a habit of leaving things lying around for others to pick up. I found it while dusting. You had no right, Hilda sputters. No right? Like you had no right to break into Kira's apartment? My voice drops low. Or no right to treat me like dirt while I worked for you. Karma's a fascinating thing, isn't it? I straighten up from Jacob's desk, smoothing my skirt. The weight of what I'm about to do settles in my chest, but I push through. No more playing nice. Let's cut to the chase. I have terms. My voice rings clear in the silent office. Neuromax can be yours for $2 billion. William chokes on his coffee. $2 billion? That's non-negotiable. I turn to face Jacob, who's gone completely still. And you're out as CEO. You can't do that, Trixie protests, standing up. Actually, I can, and I will. I pull another document from my bag. My lawyers have reviewed everything. The patents give me controlling interest in any company that manufactures or distributes Neuromax, which means I get to call the shots. What exactly do you want, Nyla? Jacob's voice is steady, but his fingers drum against his desk. Everything. I spread my hands wide. Either I become the sole owner of Stone Hospital Group, or, at minimum, the majority shareholder. Those are my terms. Hilda slams her hand on the desk. This is ridiculous. You're a nurse, for God's sake. You don't know the first thing about running a hospital. I know enough to recognize exploitation when I see it. I lock eyes with her. I've watched from the ground floor while you people played your games. Now it's my turn to make the rules. And if we refuse? William asks. I slide my phone from my purse, making a show of scrolling through my contacts. You know, Mercy General has been dying to get their hands on something like Neuromax, and Cleveland Clinic. They'd love to be first to market. You wouldn't dare. Hilda's face contorts. Try me. I tap my nails against my phone screen. One call and I release everything. The formula, the research notes, even the evidence of how you've been suppressing this cure. Imagine the headlines. Stone Hospital Group withheld life-saving treatment for profit. Jacob stands, his hands flat on the desk. That would destroy thousands of jobs, Nyla. People who had nothing to do with this. Like the nurses working double shifts, the orderlies barely making minimum wage. I lock eyes with him. The same people you've been exploiting for years? This isn't about the workers, William cuts in. You're right. It's about power. And right now, I have it all. I turn back to Jacob. So what's it going to be? Work with me or watch everything you've built crumble? Trixie starts to speak, but I raise my hand. Before you answer, remember, I have nothing left to lose. You've all made sure of that. But you, I gesture around the plush office. You have everything to lose. The silence stretches between us like a rubber band about to snap. I let it linger, watching them squirm. The choice is simple: partner with me as equals, or I'll burn it all down and sell the ashes to the highest bidder. Jacob's face contorts with disbelief. This isn't you, Nyla. What happened to the compassionate nurse who fought so hard for her patients? She learned. I trace my finger along the edge of his desk, remembering all the nights I spent working double shifts, watching patients suffer, while the Stone family just got richer and richer. She learned that compassion gets you nowhere in this world, not with people like you. People like us? Hilda's voice rises. We built this hospital from nothing. We've saved countless lives, while letting others die because they couldn't afford your prices. My words sliced through her defense. You're talking about destroying everything we've built, Jacob says, his voice quiet but intense. Lives depend on this hospital. Yeah, like my grandfather. I meet his gaze. What would you have done if I didn't agree to play your dress up as your fake bride? He'd be out on the street. Hilda steps forward, her eyes assessing me, her gaze fierce. I never thought you could be this ruthless. A laugh bubbles up from my chest, bitter and sharp. This is the way you made me. I spread my arms wide, taking in their shocked expressions. This is the only language you understand? We didn't make you anything, William protests. Really? I turn to him. When I begged for help with my grandfather's treatment, what was I told? Business is business. Well, this is business. I tap the documents on Jacob's desk. And business is ruthless, isn't it?
Chapter 1, 105. Jacob. I raise my hands, trying to keep the peace as tension crackles through my office. Let's all take a breath here, Nyla. 2 billion is outrageous? Nyla's eyes flash with a fury I've never seen in her before. Like the way this hospital has been run. You're just lashing out because Jacob chose someone else. Hilda cuts in, her voice sharp as steel, making me wince internally at how close to home that hits. This vindictive display is beneath even you. Don't presume to know my motivations. Nyla's shoulders square as she draws herself up to her full height, radiating the same determination that once made her such an effective nurse. Well, I'm not taking this offer to the board, Hilda interrupts, her hand slicing through the air in a decisive gesture that makes her diamond bracelet catch the light. Absolutely not. The very suggestion of ousting Jacob is ludicrous. Her loyalty at least seems unwavering. William nods, his usually jovial face stern. Nyla, this is extortion. His words hang heavy in my office's tense atmosphere. What I know is that this hospital needs new leadership. Nyla's gaze meets mine, and for a moment I see past the anger to something deeper, genuine concern. This isn't about us, Jacob. It's about getting what I'm owed. The answer is no, Hilda says flatly. We won't be blackmailed. Not today. Not ever. Then you'll lose everything. Nyla's voice is quiet but firm, carrying that edge of calculated certainty that makes my stomach twist. We'll take our chances. I can see the tension in her shoulders, the way she's positioning herself like a shield between Nyla and me. I've faced bigger threats than a nurse trying to play CEO. Nyla adjusts her blazer with deliberate slowness, a smirk playing at her lips as she smooths the expensive fabric. Then I'll take my business elsewhere. I hear Kira has already been talking to Mayo Clinic. They are very interested. Nyla starts to walk away, her heels clicking against the hardwood floor with measured precision. Each step feels like a countdown to disaster. Hilda steps into her path, and I see decades of boardroom composure crumbling as her face contorts with rage. You ungrateful little... Ungrateful! Nyla whirls around. For what? The constant humiliation? The sabotage? We gave you everything! Hilda's face flushes red. You gave me nothing but grief and mind games. I try to step between them. Ladies, stay out of this, Jacob! They snap in unison. Nyla's shoulders straighten. I'm done here. Enjoy watching your empire crumble. Hilda walks closer to Nyla like a jungle cat stalking its prey. Well, you'll be back in the kitchen soon enough, Hilda sneers. You're not used to this level of power and money. The words hit, like a physical blow. Nyla freezes mid-step, her entire body going rigid. The silence that follows is deafening. I can see her knuckles turn white as she grips the handle of her bag. My heart skips as William raises his hand, silencing Hilda's venom. The shift in the room's energy is palpable. That's enough. William's voice carries the weight of decades of authority. Miss Thomas has outmaneuvered us all, plain and simple. Trix's laugh cuts through the tension. Seriously, 2 minutes ago you were ready to call the lawyers. And I still might. William straightens his tie, his eyes fixed on Nyla. But I recognize a shark when I see one. You've got teeth, young lady. The corner of Nyla's mouth twitches. I learned from the best. Indeed. William circles my desk, hands clasped behind his back. Reminds me of myself back in '82. Leveraged everything I had on a failing hospital. Everyone said I was insane. Dad, I start, but he waves me off. The board thought I was committing corporate suicide. Now look at us. He stops in front of Nyla. You're not backing down, are you? Not an inch. Even knowing what you're doing to this family? Nyla meets his gaze. Especially knowing what this family did to me. William nods slowly, a glimmer of respect in his eyes. Good. Never apologize for playing hardball. God knows we never did. William. Hilda's voice cracks like a whip. Have you lost your mind? On the contrary. He turns to face us all. I'm seeing clearer than I have in years. We never should have underestimated this young woman. Dad's right, I say, loosening my tie. Nyla's proven she can swim with sharks. She deserves at least to have us consider her offer. Have you lost your mind? Trixa paces the length of my office. She's trying to fire you. Which is steep, I agree. I lean against my desk. But everything's negotiable. We can work out terms that benefit everyone. Benefit everyone? Trixa stops short. She's holding a gun to our heads. Hilda sinks into one of the leather chairs, suddenly looking older than her years. Do you know what I've sacrificed to keep this family's legacy intact? The choices I've had to make? Her fingers trace the pearls at her neck. Every decision, every calculated risk. It was all to protect what generations of stones built. Then protect it now, I say. We can't afford to let pride. Pride? Trix's laugh is brittle. This isn't about pride, Jacob. This is about not negotiating with terrorists. She's right. Hilda's voice hardens. Give Nyla an inch now. She'll take everything. Nyla chuckles. Oh, don't worry about giving me anything. I intend to take everything I want. Do your best, Hilda says with bite. Have it your way, Nyla says, her heels clicking against the hardwood as she moves toward the door. She pauses, hand on the doorknob. It's just a pleasure knowing you'll soon be even more broke than I am. Her smile is razor sharp. Enjoy your downfall. Goodbye. Nyla, come on, I say as she leaves, unsure if I'm more worried about my job or my heart. But my words aren't enough to stop her. The door closes with a soft click that sounds like a gunshot in the silence she leaves behind, and I worry the damage might not be repairable. You think you can catch me? You think you can tame me?
Oh, I know I can. And you know it too, baby.
I gotta tell you, you're not the first to try.
But don't worry, baby. I'll be the last.
With sass like that, maybe I'll be the one that needs to tame you.
Let's cut to the chase, big boy. What you selling me?
Your appetite is big AF. I have just the thing that'll satisfy you.
Oh, really? And what's that?
Over 120 hours of romance audiobooks. Brought to you by Tyla Walker Romances in the Big AF Audio Bundle.
120 hours? That sounds amazing.
Your knees won't work afterwards if I do my job right.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Well, I can keep this promise. Because these audiobooks are unabridged with all the spicy scenes that will make you put your earbuds on. You know, Tyla can get freaky because she marked the bundle down by 69% for a limited time.
I can't wait to take this bundle for a ride.
Visit TylaWalker.com and get this audio bundle. Just don't start listening if you're going to be cooking dinner. Because you might just forget to feed your family.
TylaWalker.com. Escape your life with Tyla. Chapter 1. 106 Nyla. I make a point to not look back as I stride away from Jacob's office, my heart pounding against my ribs. Power surges through my veins, but there's an acidic taste in my mouth that won't go away. The look in Jacob's eyes when I delivered my ultimatum. Nyla, wait! I quicken my pace. Not now. I can't deal with him now. Nyla, please. His footsteps echo behind me, getting closer. I jab the elevator button repeatedly. Come on, I mutter. Just stop for a minute. Jacob's hand touches my shoulder. I shrug it off, but turn to face him. What could you possibly have to say to me now? Have dinner with me. I blink. Excuse me? Tonight, let's talk about this. Just us. So you can try to manipulate me? No thanks. No manipulation. He runs his hand through his hair. Look, I know things are complicated, but that doesn't mean we can't still be civil to each other. I scoff. Complicated is an understatement. You've got your mother trying to buy me off while you stand there acting like nothing's wrong. The elevator dings. I step inside, my suit rustling with the quick movement as the door tries to close, but he blocks it with his hand. The fluorescent lights cast harsh shadows across his expensive suit. Is that a no? I study Jacob's face, searching for any hint of deception, any trace of the manipulation his family is so famous for. The elevator stays open between us, its gentle hum the only sound in this moment. My fingers clench around the strap of my bag, knuckles going white with tension. Hilda doesn't speak for me, Jacob says, his hand still holding the door. This is still my hospital, at least for the moment. And right now, all I see is someone I care about ready to burn everything down. My chest tightens at his words. Care about? That's rich coming from someone who's been letting his mother treat me like dirt since day one. I've never approved of how she treated you. You know that? Do I? The words come out sharper than intended. Jacob steps closer to me, the scent of his cologne and the look in his eyes testing my resolve. Look, you clearly have leverage here. I'm not denying that. But there has to be a better way forward than scorched earth. Why? Because it's inconvenient for you. Because, despite everything that's happened, I know you're better than this. The Nyla I know cares about helping people, not destroying them. I press the door close button harder than necessary. Maybe you don't know me as well as you think. Maybe not. He leans closer to me. But I'd like to, so what do you say? Dinner, just to talk terms? I find myself studying Jacob's reflection in the polished mirrors of the elevator. Even now, after everything, my stomach does that little flip when he looks at me. Fine, dinner, my choice. Of course. His shoulders relax slightly. Masa, the Mandarin Oriental. 8 o'clock. I say like I'm used to making these kinds of dinners all the time. I know the one. he says with a smile, clearly impressed with my choice. I adjust my purse strap, needing something to do with my hands. Just don't expect me to back down. I wouldn't dream of it. You've never backed down from anything in your life. The way he says it, like he admires that about me, makes my chest tight. You're right about that. His eyes lock with mine, and for a moment I see the Jacob I fell for. The one who stood up to Hilda when she tried to fire me. The one who believed in me when no one else did. 8 o'clock then, I say. Softer than I mean to. Don't be late. I wouldn't dare. I'll see you then, I tell him as the elevator begins sliding shut. Jacob hastily stops the doors again. I'll send a car. I can't help but smile as I nod, remembering how good it feels to be taken care of. To have someone arrange my every need. I can feel his eyes on me. Part of me wants to run into his arms and feel his body against mine. But I keep my head high. I've come too far to show weakness now, even if my heart is racing at the thought of dinner with him. The elevator doors slide shut, and I watch Jacob's impossibly handsome face disappear. I'm finally alone with my thoughts and the intoxicating scent of Jacob's lingering cologne. I take a breath and relax, leaning against the wall as the elevator begins to descend, each floor bringing a new memory. The elevator dings at each floor, marking time like a metronome to my memories. 5th floor, where we first met. 4th floor, where he found me crying after Grandpa's bad day and just sat with me, not saying a word. 3rd floor, where we shared our first real conversation about our dreams for the future. 2nd floor, where my phone buzzes. A text from Kevin about next steps, but I can't focus on the words. All I can think about is Jacob's face when I delivered my ultimatum, the hurt in his eyes, the way his jaw tightened, just like it does when he's trying to hide his emotions. This is business, I remind myself firmly. Just business. But business never made my heart race like this. Business never left me wondering if I'm making the biggest mistake of my life. The elevator reaches the lobby, and I straighten my spine. 8 o'clock, dinner, just talking terms, like he said. But deep down, I know there's nothing just about anything when it comes to Jacob Stone. Chapter 107, Nyla. The silk dress slides over my skin as Lori zips me up. In the mirror, I barely recognize myself. The woman staring back exudes power in ways my scrubs never could. Girl, you look like you could buy and sell the whole city, Zara whistles, adjusting my necklace. Maybe I can. I smooth down the fabric, admiring how it hugs every curve. My father left me everything. The formula, the patents, all of it. Lori pauses mid-mascara application. Your biological father? The one who abandoned me? Yeah. I turn to let them see the full effect. Turns out he had a conscience after all, or maybe just a twisted sense of humor. Even though they are my best friends, I still haven't told Zara and Lori the full truth about who my father really was. And they certainly didn't know that I was stepsisters with my biggest enemy, the one and only Trixa Swan. And now you own what, exactly? Zara perches on my bed, legs crossed. Everything the Stones want. Their whole empire depends on this drug going to market. The words still feel surreal coming out of my mouth. Without me, they're just another failing hospital system. Damn, Lori lets out a low whistle. No wonder Jacob's taking you to Massa. You're probably worth more than him now. Maybe. I slip on my heels, testing my balance. But it's not about the money. It's about respect. And revenge? Zara raises an eyebrow. That too. I check my lipstick one final time. They treated us like we were nothing. Now they have to treat us like equals. Us? Lori asks. All of us. The nurses, the orderlies, everyone they look down on. My phone buzzes. The car's arrived. Things are going to change at Stone Hospital. Starting with dinner at Masa? Zara grins, helping me with my clutch. Starting with dinner at Masa. I agree, feeling the weight of my new power settle around me like a crown. Just remember who you're dealing with, Lori says, adjusting my earring. This is the same man who left you high and dry for another woman. I know. I fidget with my bracelet, avoiding their concerned faces in the mirror. But Jacob's different when we're alone. He listens. He understands. Girl, please. Zara stands behind me, hands on my shoulders. You're about to negotiate billions of dollars. You can't let those puppy dog eyes of his cloud your judgment. My stomach flutters at the thought of seeing him again. I'm not going to let him manipulate me. You say that now, Lori flops onto my bed. But what happens when he starts talking about how much he's missed you, how he wants to make things right? Or when he does that thing where he touches your hand while making a point? Zara adds. Heat rises to my cheeks. I hate that you both know me so well. We love you. Lori sits up, her dark curls bouncing with the movement. Which is why we're telling you. Keep business and pleasure separate. The minute you mix them up is the minute I lose my advantage, I finish, trying to ignore the way my heart constricts at the truth in her words. But what if there's a way to have both? The question comes out smaller than I intended, betraying the desperate hope I'm trying to suppress. There isn't, Zara says firmly, crossing her arms as she levels me with that no-nonsense stare I've known since nursing school. Not right now. Not when the stakes are this high. You've worked too hard to get this meeting. My phone buzzes. Jacob's downstairs, right on time as always. My stomach does that nervous flip it's been doing all afternoon. Channel that energy into getting what you deserve. Zara squeezes my shoulder, her touch grounding me like it has through countless night shifts and coffee-fueled study sessions. All those nights you spent worrying about your grandpa's medical bills? Remember them. All those times you had to smile through Hilda's insults at the hospital? Use them. Let them fuel you. Your heart's not wrong for feeling what it feels, Lori says softly, her eyes full of understanding that makes my throat tight. But your head needs to be in charge tonight. We both know you can do this. Business first. I stand, smoothing down the red dress I spent 3 paychecks on. Everything else can wait. The fabric feels like armor against my skin, and I need every bit of protection I can get tonight. But even as I say the words, even as I try to project confidence, I wonder if I'm strong enough to keep that promise. The weight of Grandpa's care and my own tangled emotions sits heavy on my shoulders. My phone buzzes again. Another message from the driver. I grab my clutch, trying to ignore the way my heart races at the thought of seeing Jacob. Zara pours the last of the wine into our glasses, the deep red liquid catching the light. My hands aren't shaking anymore, but there's an electric current running through my body that has nothing to do with alcohol. To our girl, Lori raises her glass, the bangles on her wrist jingling. About to show those stones what real power looks like. Remember what I taught you about negotiating? Zara swirls her wine. Never take the first offer. And always ask for more than you want, I finish, smoothing my dress for the 100th time. I know. That's my girl. Zara beams, pride radiating from her face. Show them what a black woman from Brooklyn can do. To new beginnings, Lori lifts her glass higher, and to karma finally coming through. I raise my own glass, the weight of everything, the formula, Grandpa's care, Jacob's complicated presence in my life, settling into something manageable, something I can use. Here goes nothing. Nothing, Zara scoffs. Baby, you're about to own half of Manhattan. That's not nothing. That's everything, Lori adds, her smile fierce and protective. And you deserve every bit of it. The wine tastes like possibility on my tongue, and for the first time since this all started, I truly believe them. But as I step into the hallway, I wonder if I'm really as ready for this dinner as I'm pretending to be. I worry that one look from Jacob will destroy my carefully constructed armor and leave me with nothing yet again.
Chapter 1, 108. Jacob. My breath catches as Nyla steps out of her building. The front of her red silk dress plunges almost to her waist, making my collar feel 2 sizes too tight. You look... I clear my throat. That dress is lethal. Good evening to you too, Jacob. Her smile holds an edge I've never seen before. I open the limo door, catching a whiff of her perfume as she slides past. The scent hits me like a punch to the gut. Jasmine and something deeper, more primal. The regular old Mercedes wasn't enough for this special occasion, she asks with a smirk, running her hand along the leather seat. Though I suppose I'll be able to afford one of my own soon enough. The reminder of why we're here tonight stings. I signal the driver and settle in beside her, trying not to notice how the silk shifts across her thighs. You've certainly come prepared for war, I say, nodding at her outfit. Oh, this? She smooths the dress. Just a little something I picked up. The city lights dance across her face as we glide through traffic. In another life, this would be perfect. Just the two of us, dressed to kill, heading to the best restaurant in town. But the papers in her possession might as well be grenades aimed at my family's legacy. You know, in different circumstances, this would be quite the romantic evening, I say. She turns those dark eyes on me. Different circumstances being what? Or I'm still the girl from the wrong side of the tracks. Grateful for your attention? That's not what I meant. No? Her laugh lacks warmth. Then what did you mean, Jacob? I loosened my tie, suddenly feeling trapped. I meant before all this got so complicated. When it was just us, no agendas, no power plays. There were always power plays, she says softly. I just wasn't the one making them before. Thankfully, we arrive at our destination before things can get any more contentious. The Mandarin Oriental's lobby sparkles with crystal chandeliers as we walk through. I guide Nyla with a light touch at the small of her back, feeling the silk of her dress beneath my fingers. Mr. Stone, the maitre d' bows slightly. Your usual table is ready. We're led to the best seats in the house, overlooking Central Park. Nyla takes in the minimalist decor, the hushed atmosphere. I have to admit, I'm impressed. She unfolds her napkin. Getting a same-day reservation at Masa. I didn't think you'd actually be able to pull it off. You'd be surprised what I can pull off, I say with a wink as I signal the sommelier. We'll start with the 82 Chateau Lafite. And the VIP Oma case, I tell the server. Add the Toro Tartare with caviar as well. Nyla raises an eyebrow. Going all out tonight? If we're going to discuss business, we might as well do it in style. I watch as the sommelier presents the wine, trying to focus on anything but how the candlelight plays across her collarbones. You always did know how to make an impression. She takes a sip of wine, and I catch myself staring at her lips. This is going to be harder than I thought. The first course arrives. Delicate slices of toro that practically dissolve on the tongue. Nyla's eyes widen as she takes her first bite. Oh my God, she whispers, covering her mouth with her fingers. I've never... Just wait. I lean forward, enjoying her reaction. The next course will blow your mind. Each dish arrives like a work of art, uni topped with gold leaf, wagyu seared tableside, caviar nestled in perfect little spheres of rice. Nyla's wonder at each new plate makes the evening worth every penny. I can't believe people eat like this regularly, she says, dabbing her lips with her napkin. Welcome to the good life. I pour her another glass of wine. This could be your regular Thursday night, you know. She tilts her head. Is that your way of suggesting I should just hand over the formula and enjoy being rich? Smart and beautiful. I give her my most disarming smile. Think about it. No stress, no corporate warfare, just the best of everything, whenever you want it. And let you and your family keep controlling everything. She takes a slow sip of wine. That's not the kind of power I'm interested in anymore. Power comes with complications, Nyla. Believe me, I know. The weight of the poison in my veins makes itself known. Sometimes it's better to just enjoy life's pleasures. Says the man born into billions. Her eyes sparkle with amusement. Nice try, though. Nyla, I just want the best for you. Save it. I don't need you to sweep me off my feet anymore, she says as she pulls out her black Amex card at the hovering server. The sommelier's eyebrows lift slightly. Probably the first time anyone's turned down my tab at Massa. Heat crawls up my neck as Nyla signs the check with a flourish. You don't have to, but I want to. She tucks a strand of hair behind her ear, the gesture achingly familiar. That's the difference now, Jacob. Everything I do is because I want to, not because someone else is pulling my strings. I never meant to use you as a pawn, I say. The words sound hollow even to my ears. No? She stands, smoothing her dress. Then what would you call proposing marriage just to keep your board happy? What would you call dropping me the moment something better came along? I reach for her hand, but she steps back. The other diners pretend not to watch, but I feel their eyes on us. You're right, I admit. I did use you, but what I felt, what I still feel... Stop! Her voice is steel wrapped in silk. The old Nyla might have melted at those words. The new one knows better. My throat tightens. Even now, after everything, the sight of her makes my pulse race. Let me take you home. Already taken care of. A small smile plays at the corners of her mouth. I've learned to handle my own arrangements. She steps closer, and the familiar scent of her perfume wraps around me. Before I can process what's happening, she leans in. Her lips brush my cheek, soft and warm, lingering just long enough to make my heart stutter. Let's do it again sometime, she whispers, her breath tickling my ear. Then she's moving away, the sway of her hips leaving me mesmerized. Gone is the girl who used to duck her head when entering places like this. In her place stands a woman who knows exactly what she's worth. I sink back into my chair, touching the spot where her lips met my skin. The waiter appears with another bottle of wine, but I wave him away. No amount of alcohol will dull the ache in my chest or the certainty that I want her more now than I ever did before.
This is it, baby. This is what you can get me that'll make me happy.
You know I'll get you whatever you want. All you need to do is ask me and I'll give it to you.
This ain't just it. This is everything I could ever want.
Now I'm curious. What does a strong, sassy woman like yourself want so badly?
Baby, you know what I want?
I can't wait to hear.
The Big Baddie Bundle from Tyla Walker. It has everything I need.
20 ebooks with over 1 million words of sassy romance and spice that'll keep you on your toes.
10 audiobooks containing over 60 hours of that seductive voice telling me naughty things all night long.
You don't need an audiobook for that, baby. Right here.
You may be fine and all, but no one tells it like the way Miss Tyla does. And I need her in my life.
The Big Baddie Bundle is everything you need. You can get it for 80% off.
Go to TylaWalker.com to browse the bundles that earn you the best deals.
It's time you treat yourself. Because you deserve it.
Escape your life with Miss Tyla. Chapter 109. Nyla. Still buzzing from the high of standing up to Jacob at dinner. I stride into Hilda's office in the stone mansion. The room still smells of her overpowering perfume, but it doesn't intimidate me anymore. My lips curve into a smile as I spot her behind her massive mahogany desk. "Good morning, Mrs. Stone," I say, placing a letter on her desk. Hilda doesn't even look at me or the letter as she finishes writing something in her notebook. "Is this a new habit of yours, barging unannounced into places you don't belong?" "I wanted to give it to you in person. My 2 weeks' notice?" Hilda looks up from her papers, one perfectly manicured eyebrow arching. "Notice? Why would you assume you still have a position here?" I lean forward, resting my hands on her desk. "Oh, I just wanted to make sure there's no confusion about who works for who now. Wouldn't want any misunderstandings." "The only misunderstanding," Hilda says, pushing my letter aside, "is how you managed to access that safety deposit box." Her eyes narrow. "Where did you get the key, Nyla?" I straighten up, smoothing my blazer. "I don't owe you any explanations, Mrs. Stone. Not anymore." "Don't you?" She stands, her movements deliberate and controlled. First Republic Bank safety deposit boxes require 2 keys to open. Anyone with real experience in these matters would know that. I meet her gaze, unflinching. Maybe I'm just a quick learner. "Or maybe," she says, circling her desk like a shark, "you're in over your head, playing games you don't fully understand." "The only game being played here is the one you started," I reply, my voice steady. "And now I'm changing the rules." Hilda stops in front of me, her lips curling into a cold smile. "You think having a key makes you powerful? Makes you one of us?" "No," I say, turning toward the door. "Having the formula makes me more powerful than you. And that's what really burns, isn't it? That you got outsmarted by the help?" Hilda's nostrils flare. "Marcus wouldn't have just given you that formula. There must be more to this story." "Must there be?" I step closer, enjoying how she tenses. Maybe he saw something in me that reminded him of himself. Or maybe he just wanted to stick it to you one last time. Does it matter? "It matters because you don't belong here," she hisses. "Having a piece of paper doesn't make you one of us." "One of you?" I snort, shaking my head. "Trust me, I have no interest in being part of your little dynasty. I'm creating something new, something better." Hilda's eyes narrow. "You're playing a dangerous game, girl. There are things you don't understand." "No." I cut her off, my voice sharp as steel. "You don't understand. Stop asking questions you don't want answers to, because trust me, if you push me, I'll make sure everyone knows exactly what kind of person Hilda Stone really is." The color drains from her face. "Are you threatening me?" "I'm giving you friendly advice," I say. "Take it or leave it. But remember, I'm not your maid anymore. I'm the woman who holds your family's future in her hands." Hilda's composure returns like a mask sliding into place. "You know, Nyla, success is a fickle friend. One day you're on top. The next..." She trails off, examining her manicured nails. "Well, let's just say I've seen many bright stars burn out." I lean against her office doorframe, crossing my arms. "Now who's making threats?" "Consider it a friendly warning." Hilda's lips curve into what might pass for a smile. "The people you step on while climbing up, they have long memories. And those you befriend, they might not be as loyal as you think." "Spare me the fortune cookie wisdom," I say, rolling my eyes. "I've learned everything I need to know about loyalty from watching your family." Hilda's eyes narrow. "Pride comes before the fall, dear. And when you fall, not if, when, you'll find yourself very alone." "That's rich coming from you." I straighten up, adjusting my blazer. At least I earned my position. I wasn't born into it with a silver spoon and a superiority complex. Oh, you think you've earned something? Hilda's laugh is sharp as broken glass. You found a key and got lucky. That's not earning. That's stumbling into power you don't understand. Keep telling yourself that. I turn to leave, then pause. But here's some advice for you, Hilda. Stay out of my way. Your time at the top is over. It's my turn now, and unlike you, I plan to stay there. Such confidence, she murmurs. I hope it keeps you warm when reality comes knocking. Don't worry about me, I say over my shoulder. Worry about yourself. Your dynasty is crumbling, and I'm going to enjoy watching it fall. Hilda rises from her chair, smoothing her designer suit as she approaches me. Her heels click against the marble floor, each step measured and deliberate. Despite everything, she still carries herself like royalty. You may not work for me anymore, Nyla, she says, her voice dripping with condescension. But don't think for a moment that changes anything between us. You'll always be the help. The girl who cleaned my toilets and walked my dogs. I feel my jaw clench, but I force myself to maintain my composure. Is that what helps you sleep at night, Hilda? Believing I'm still beneath you? Oh, darling, she purrs, reaching out to brush an imaginary speck from my blazer. You misunderstand. This isn't about belief. It's about reality. Money can buy many things, but it can't buy class or breeding. I step back from her touch, my skin crawling. You're right about one thing. Nothing has changed between us. You're still the same bitter woman who gets off on making others feel small. And you're still the same girl, playing dress up in clothes she thinks make her important. Hilda's lips curve into a cruel smile. The difference is, now you actually believe your own fantasy. With that final barb, she turns and glides out of the office, leaving me alone with the lingering scent of her expensive perfume and the echo of her words.
Chapter 1. 110. Jacob. I pace across my penthouse office, the Manhattan skyline twinkling behind me like a sea of stars. Each step feels heavier than the last as I try to wrap my head around this mess. She's not lying. She has the receipts, Derek says from his perch on my leather couch. If she takes us to court, she will win. Not to mention burn us all down in the process. Jacob, we could be fined. There could be jail time. I run a hand through my hair, probably messing it up beyond repair. Nyla was always smart, but this is something else entirely. Derek takes a sip of his scotch. The board's in panic mode. Henderson's threatening to jump ship, and Chen's already called 3 times today. The door bursts open, cutting me off mid-sentence. My mother storms in, a hurricane in a Chanel suit. The scent of her signature perfume fills the room, announcing her presence like a royal herald. "This is unacceptable," she declares, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. "That little upstart thinks she can waltz in and take everything we've built." "Mother," I start, but she waves me off. "Don't mother me, Jacob. This is your fault. If you hadn't been so soft on her..." "Soft?" I bark out a laugh. "We made her scrub floors, Mother. We humiliated her at every turn. How exactly was that being soft?" My mother's eyes narrow dangerously. And now she's using our kindness against us. Kindness. I feel my control slipping. Is that what we're calling it now? Derek clears his throat, clearly uncomfortable with the family drama unfolding before him. "I'll talk to you later, Jacob. Good day, Mrs. Stone." As Derek leaves, Hilda turns to me, her voice low and determined. "Jacob, we are going to lose it all because of that girl's vendetta. She needs to be put in her place." I lean against my desk, arms crossed. We could just give her what she's asking for. Mom's eyes flashed dangerously. Are you insane? There are other ways to handle this. Other ways? I straighten up, suddenly alert. What exactly are you planning? Nothing yet, she says, smoothing her blazer. But I have connections. Stop right there. I hold up a hand. Whatever you're thinking, discuss it with me first. No going rogue. She scoffs. Since when do I need your permission? Since your methods tend to make things worse. Hilda throws up her hands in disbelief. You made things worse by bringing that girl into our lives in the first place. I move to the window, staring out at the city below. Nyla was never like this before. Vengeful, ruthless. I don't understand what happened to her. People show their true colors when they get a taste of power. Or maybe, I turn back to face her, if you hadn't treated her like dirt, we wouldn't be in this mess. Mom's face hardens. You're too soft, Jacob. That's always been your problem. And you're too harsh. That's always been yours. She waves dismissively. Well, something needs to be done, and if you won't handle it... I said, discuss it with me first, I repeat firmly. I mean it, Mom. My mother's drum against my desk, each tap like a hammer driving into my skull. We could make her grandfather's treatment difficult, she suggests, her voice dripping with calculated malice. Absolutely not, I snap, my hands clenching into fists. We're not going after an innocent man. Then perhaps some well-placed rumors about her past? I have friends at several newspapers who... Stop! I cut her off, my voice sharp enough to make her blink. Just stop, Mom. We're not doing this. She straightens her spine, eyes narrowing. You're letting your past with her cloud your judgment, and you're letting your pride turn you into someone I don't recognize. I move around the desk, facing her directly. We're better than this. Are we? She laughs, the sound brittle. Because that girl is about to destroy everything we've built. Maybe she has reason to. I run a hand through my hair. After how we treated her. Oh, please, she was the help, Jacob. Nothing more. No, I say firmly. She was never just the help. And I won't let you attack her like this. Mother rises from her chair, bristling. Then what do you suggest? We just roll over and let her win. We maintain our dignity. We negotiate like civilized people. And how has that been going for you? Hilda says with a smirk. I meet her gaze steadily. There are rules, Mom. Lines we don't cross. Since when do you care about rules? Hilda's eyes narrow, a knowing smile spreading across her face. Oh, I see what this is. You're still in love with her. This isn't about love, I say, keeping my voice steady despite the way my heart races at the accusation. It's about basic human decency. Please, she scoffs, adjusting her Chanel jacket. I know that look in your eyes. The same one you had when you first introduced us to her. I lean back against my desk, arms crossed. I don't have to be in love with someone to want to treat them like a human being, Mom. Maybe try it sometime. Don't be condescending, she snaps. I've been in this business longer than you've been alive. Sometimes you have to play dirty to... No, I cut her off. We're done here. If you can't handle this professionally, then stay out of it. Mom's face hardens, her perfectly painted lips pressing into a thin line. Fine, have it your way. But when this all blows up in your face, don't come crying to me. She turns on her heel, her Louboutin flashing red as she storms out. The door slams behind her, the sound echoing through my office. I slump into my chair, loosening my tie. The skyline stretches out before me, a reminder of everything at stake. Nyla's face flashes through my mind, not the cold, calculating woman who stormed my boardroom, but the warm, compassionate nurse I fell for. Damn, I mutter, running a hand through my hair. Mom's right about one thing. This is complicated, but she's wrong about how to handle it. The question is, how do I fix this mess without losing everything, including her. You won't know what hit you, baby. I'm going to take you, break you, and make you mine. And when I'm done, you're...
Now hold on just a minute.
What?
I got something to say.
What's the meaning of this?
Now you may be some fine-looking white boy,
Got that right, baby. It takes hard work.
and you might got the money,
Fat stacks, baby, to spoil you with.
but that doesn't mean I'm going to give it up to you without a fight.
A fight?
You want some limp wilting flowers? Go to historical romance, baby. But you want sassy and spicy strong black queens that tame their alpha male bad boys?
I think our listeners do.
Then you go on and look at Miss Tyla's Bougie Brides and Billionaires audio bundle.
50 hours of me whispering the most romantic things in your ears. Fake marriages, alpha male billionaires, strong black women, steamy scenes that will make your eyes roll back. And everything wrapped up in a happily ever after that will put you in an afterglow.
Use code SAVE40 to get 40% off this bundle and any other digital product in Miss Tyla's store.
Unabridged and uncut.
Just like you,
You're gonna have to find out.
Tyla Walker Romances. Escape your life with sassy romance.
Chapter 111, Kevin. I lean back in my leather chair, studying Jacob Stone across the polished conference table. His usually impeccable suit looks slightly rumpled, and dark circles rim his eyes. Beside him, Derek Radcliffe shuffles through papers, occasionally glancing up with barely concealed hostility. Let's cut to the chase, I say, adjusting my tie. The intellectual property rights for Neuromax belong to Nyla Thomas. That's non-negotiable. Jacob's jaw tightens. The formula was developed in our labs, using our resources. Under Marcus Swan's supervision, I counter smoothly. And he explicitly left those rights to Ms. Thomas. The documentation is ironclad. Derek slaps his hand on the table. This is absurd. You can't possibly expect us to pay $2 billion for something that's rightfully ours. Rightfully yours? I raise an eyebrow, keeping my voice level. The legal documentation suggests otherwise, but if you'd prefer, we can take this to court. I'm sure your shareholders would love that publicity. Are you threatening us? Jacob leans forward, his eyes flashing. Not at all. I spread my hands. I'm simply laying out your options. Pay the asking price for the license, or watch Neuromax slip through your fingers. Your choice. Derek scoffs. There are other options. Like what? I pull out a folder, sliding it across the table. Developing a new formula? That could take years. Going to market with your current version? The failure rates would destroy you. Or perhaps you'd prefer we license it to your competitors. Jacob picks up the folder, his knuckles white. $2 billion is excessive. Is it? I smile, knowing I have them cornered. Consider the potential revenue stream. The market size. The lives that could be saved. $2 billion seems quite reasonable when you look at the bigger picture. I lean back in my chair, savoring the moment. Jacob's face is a mask of barely contained frustration as I explain the harsh reality of their situation. Let me paint you a picture, I say, tapping my Mont Blanc pen against the polished conference table. If Neuromax fails to meet expectations, every single dollar you've poured into trials and development, I make a popping sound with my lips. Gone. Poof, like it never existed. Derek shifts uncomfortably in his seat. We're aware of the risks. Are you? I cock my head. Because from where I'm sitting, it seems like you're not grasping the full scope of this situation. We're not just talking about wasted investment here. Jacob's jaw clenches. Get to the point, Shaw. The point, Mr. Stone, is that without the proper formulation, Neuromax becomes worthless. Not just unsuccessful, worthless. And when that happens, I spread my hands wide. The financial implications will be catastrophic. You're exaggerating, Derek interjects, but his voice lacks conviction. Am I? I lean forward, my voice dropping. Your balance sheets will take a hit that'll make the 2008 crash look like a minor setback. You'll have to write down the asset's value to zero. And then, I pause for effect. Well, let's just say Chapter 11 might become more than just a legal term you studied in business school. Jacob's face pales slightly. Good. The message is getting through. The Stone Hospital Group's stability hangs by a thread, I continue. And that thread? It's in Nyla's hands now. I lean forward, my voice taking on a more somber tone. But that's not even the worst part. Let's talk about personal consequences. Jacob's eyes narrow. What do you mean? Your family's assets, I say, drumming my fingers on the mahogany table. They're all tied to the Stone Hospital Group, aren't they? Those fancy properties, the cars, the lifestyle you've grown accustomed to. Derek shifts uncomfortably. That's irrelevant. Is it? I counter, enjoying the way Jacob's face tightens. When the group goes under, those assets won't cover your liabilities. You'll face personal bankruptcy. That penthouse of yours? Gone. The mansion on Park Avenue? Seized. You're being dramatic, Jacob says, but there's a tremor in his voice. Am I? I open another folder. Your net worth is primarily in Stone Hospital Group stock. When that tanks, I whistle low. You might want to brush up on your barista skills, Jacob. I hear Starbucks is always hiring. The hospital, Derek interjects. You can't seriously… Oh, but I can, I cut him off. Without Neuromax, the hospital closes. Every single employee loses their job. Doctors, nurses, orderlies, all unemployed. The facility will be shuttered. I pause, letting that sink in. Imagine that. The Great Stone Hospital, reduced to an empty building with a "for sale" sign. Jacob's hands clench into fists. You're enjoying this, aren't you, Shaw? Just laying out the facts, I reply with a shrug. The choice is yours. 2 billion or complete destruction. What's it going to be? I lean back, savoring the growing tension in the room. Time to deliver the final blow. But here's where it gets really interesting, I say, pulling out another document from my briefcase. Several pharmaceutical companies have already expressed interest in licensing Neuromax. Jacob's head snaps up. What? Oh yes, I continue, enjoying his discomfort. Pfizer, Merck, Johnson & Johnson. They're all very interested in what Ms. Thomas has to offer. The bidding could get quite competitive. Derek's face reddens. You're bluffing. Am I? I slide the document across the table, a preliminary offer letter from one of the industry giants. This is just the opening bid. Imagine what they'd offer in a real negotiation. Jacob picks up the letter, his face darkening as he reads. These numbers are substantial, I finish for him, and that's without factoring in the potential royalties. I pause, letting that sink in. Ms. Thomas stands to make significantly more if she takes her business elsewhere. Derek and Jacob exchange glances, their earlier confidence evaporating. I can see the realization dawning in their eyes. They're not dealing with some amateur lawyer trying to punch above his weight. This is a calculated chess match, and I've just put them in check. Take some time to consider your position, I say, gathering my papers. But not too much time. Those other offers won't wait forever.
Chapter 1. 112. Jacob. My phone buzzes with a familiar pattern. 3 short vibrations, 1 long. My stomach drops. I look at my phone and read the message I know is waiting. I think there is going to be a full moon tonight. Not now, not after that clown show with Kevin Shaw. I'm being summoned by my unidentified rulers. If I don't comply with their requests, the poison in my veins will be released instantly. I roll my eyes and put on my blazer. Nothing can be worse than the meeting I just had, right? I would almost rather face my imminent demise than face the fact that Nyla has me over a barrel. I stride through the hospital corridors, my footsteps echoing off the sterile walls. Every step feels like I'm walking deeper into a trap. But what choice do I have? The text message burns in my mind like a brand. Mr. Stone! Dr. Rodriguez waves as she passes. The new pediatric wing is coming along beautifully. I force a smile, Glad to hear it, Doctor. Too bad it will mean nothing if Nyla gets her way. Oh, Mr. Stone, another voice calls out, about those budget reports. Email them to Linda, I say without breaking stride. She'll handle it. The elevator doors slide open and I step inside, jabbing the basement button. A nurse hurries to join me. Going down? She asks cheerfully. Unfortunately. The word slips out before I can stop it. She laughs, thinking I'm joking. If she only knew. The basement level smells of dust and disuse. Flickering fluorescent lights cast strange shadows as I make my way past abandoned filing cabinets and forgotten equipment. My shoes crunch over debris. This part of the hospital hasn't seen maintenance in years. Jacob! I freeze, then relax as I recognize the voice. Just the janitor. Hey, Phil. Late shift. Always, boss. You shouldn't be down here. Place isn't exactly safe. You have no idea, I think, but just nod. Just taking some inventory for insurance. Won't be long. The abandoned office looms ahead, its door hanging crooked on rusty hinges. My heart pounds against my ribs as I reach for the handle. After all the drama with Neuromax, I thought my day couldn't get worse. Looks like I was wrong. I push through the heavy door into the basement office, the musty air hitting my nostrils. 2 burly Russians are unloading cardboard boxes, their muscles straining under their tight black t-shirts. Ah, Mr. Stone. The taller one, Victor, grins at me. Perfect timing. We're just getting set up. I force a smile, though my jaw aches from clenching it. Glad I could help with the location. The shorter one, Dmitri, sets down a box with a thud. Very nice spot. Street access makes things, convenient. That's what I figured. I lean against the wall, trying to appear casual despite the churning in my gut. The poison in my veins feels like liquid lead, a constant reminder of why I'm here. We have many more deliveries coming, Victor says, wiping sweat from his brow. Good to have a reliable friend like you, Mr. Stone. Right. Friend. The word tastes bitter on my tongue. Dmitri laughs, a harsh sound that echoes off the concrete walls. Why so grumpy? Bad day at office? Something like that. I watch them stack more boxes, each one a testament to my powerlessness. Just dealing with some complications. Ah, business is business, Victor waves dismissively. But this is just beginning of beautiful partnership. I nod, not trusting myself to speak. The fluorescent lights flicker overhead, casting strange shadows across the boxes. I don't want to know what's in them. The less I know, the better. We're very grateful, Dmitri adds, his accent thickening. Not many people with your resources willing to help. Not many people have poison running through their veins either, I mutter. They both laugh like I've told the funniest joke they've ever heard. Let me show you something, I say, leading Victor and Dmitri down a narrow corridor. My footsteps echo against the concrete, each step feeling heavier than the last. This door leads straight to the alley. No cameras, no security checkpoints. Victor runs his hand along the metal door, nodding approvingly. Perfect. And hospital security? Disabled in this section. I tap the defunct camera above us. As far as anyone knows, this area is under renovation. Dmitri chuckles, the sound bouncing off the walls. Smart man. Very smart. We have friends upstairs too, Victor adds, his voice dropping lower. 3 nurses, 1 orderly. They keep eyes open, make sure nobody gets too curious. My stomach twists. More people involved means more risk. I didn't know about that. It's better you don't know details, Dmitri says, clapping me on the shoulder. His grip is just tight enough to be threatening. Just like it's better you don't talk to police, yes? Right. I shrug off his hand, trying to maintain my composure. I'm not exactly in a position to be making waves. Victor's smile doesn't reach his eyes. Good. Because we're watching, Mr. Stone, always watching. Like guardian angels, Dimitri adds with a smirk. Very dangerous guardian angels. I force a laugh, though it sounds hollow even to my ears. Message received. I rub my temples, exhaustion seeping into my bones. The basement's fluorescent lights cast harsh shadows across Victor and Dimitri's faces, making them look even more menacing than usual. If you need anything else, I say, my voice flat and devoid of its usual charm, just call. You have my number. Victor grins, all teeth and no warmth. Always so accommodating, Mr. Stone. Is good quality. Yeah, well, being poisoned tends to make one accommodating. I check my watch, not bothering to hide my desire to leave. The weight of Nyla's takeover and Kevin's smug negotiations pressed down on me like a lead blanket. Dimitri steps closer, his cologne a mix of expensive leather and something metallic. You seem distracted today. Problems at hospital? Nothing I can't handle. I take a step back, maintaining what little personal space I can. Just business. Business is life, Victor philosophizes, spreading his arms wide. And life is business. We understand this, yes? Sure. I turn toward the door beyond caring if I appear rude. Whatever you say. Such rush, Dimitri calls after me. Hot date waiting? I pause at the door, my hand on the handle. Okay, bye. The words come out clipped and cold, but I couldn't care less. Let them think what they want. I have bigger problems than playing nice with mobsters. The door clicks shut behind me, cutting off their laughter. I lean against it for a moment, collecting myself before heading back to deal with the mess upstairs.
I thought I was getting a fake marriage, but I didn't know my story was being told by Miss Tyla.
This isn't just any fake marriage, now is it?
No, you introduced me to the devil.
Come on, girl, Jacob isn't that bad.
Oh, I love Jacob. His family, on the other hand?
Beggars can't be choosers, Nyla. You should be grateful I even let Jacob Stone look your way.
I just wanted to save my granddaddy. Is that so bad? Why couldn't you let this be a normal fake marriage? Instead, you put me in a twisty story filled with money, betrayal, power, and lies.
Let's not forget love.
That's what keeps me going. But not gonna lie, Miss Tyla. This story you got me in ain't the simple fake marriage, happy ending I thought it would be.
It's not. Because where would be the fun in that?
Treat yourself to Say Less I Love You. Tuesdays and Thursdays. New seasons premiere every month. Or skip the wait and grab the full series bundle from TylaWalker.com. Treat yourself with Miss Tyla. Chapter 1, 113. Nyla. I sit at the massive conference table, staring at the city below me, as Kevin reviews the final terms of our agreement. The executives from Stone Hospital Group sit across from me, their faces a mix of resignation and barely concealed frustration. This hospital is mine. Hell, this city is mine. So we're agreed then, Kevin says, his voice carrying that smooth, lawyerly confidence. $20 million, paid immediately upon signing in exchange for the full intellectual property rights to Neuromax. That's correct, Derek confirms, sliding the paperwork across the table. Kevin continues with a smug confidence that makes me more attracted to him than I've ever been. That's, of course, in addition to the yearly licensing fee of $10 million for the length of the drug's production and a 51% stake in profits in perpetuity. Of course, Derek says, the reminder of my victory making everyone in the room grimace. I catch Jacob's eye as I reach for the documents. His expression is unreadable, but there's something in his gaze that makes my stomach flip. I push the feeling aside, focusing on the task at hand. Initial here, and sign on the last page, Kevin instructs, pointing to the marked sections. My hand doesn't shake as I sign. I'm proud of that. Each stroke of the pen feels like victory, like vindication for every moment they made me feel small. Congratulations, William Stone says, his tone surprisingly genuine. You've played this well, Miss Thomas. Thank you, Mr. Stone, I reply, keeping my voice neutral. How soon will I be able to access the funds? Kevin leans across the table, his eyes gleaming with excitement. Nyla, with this $20 million as collateral, we can establish a substantial line of credit. The principal stays untouched while giving you immediate access to cash. My heart races at his words. $20 million. The number feels surreal, like something from a dream. How much are we talking about? I ask, trying to keep my voice steady. Several million, easily, Kevin replies. Think of it as having a platinum card with virtually no limit. Jacob clears his throat. Nyla, you might want to be careful about... I could buy a penthouse, I interrupt, the possibilities unfurling before me. Maybe that one in Tribeca I saw last week. Derek shifts uncomfortably. Miss Thomas, drawing too heavily on credit too quickly could... And a car, I continue, barely hearing him. A Bentley maybe, or a Rolls. The image of me pulling up to the hospital in a gleaming luxury vehicle makes me smile. Let the Stones see me now. Nyla, Jacob tries again, his voice soft but urgent. This money needs to last. You should consider... Consider what? I snap, the euphoria making me bold. How to pinch pennies. How to scrimp and save. I've done enough of that. I turn to Kevin. How soon can we set this up? Kevin grins. We can head to the bank right now. I stand, smoothing down my designer suit, the first of many to come. Perfect. Let's go. I head out of the conference room as Kevin, Jacob, and Derek all follow me. I have a goddamn entourage now. I catch my reflection in the elegant gilded mirrors in the hallway. Sleek designer suit, perfectly styled hair, and a smile that could light up Manhattan. The contract sits in my Hermes bag. Kevin made sure to have me move to the top of the list in preparation for today's meeting. $20 million. My fingers tremble slightly as I pull out my phone. Kevin, I want to see that penthouse in Tribeca again. The one with the private elevator and roof deck? He grins, already dialing. I'll have them ready in 30 minutes. Perfect. I turn to Jacob, who's been unusually quiet. How many square feet was yours again? I don't think I could survive without at least 1,000 square feet more. Nyla, he says, his voice soft with concern. Maybe we should discuss a financial strategy first. Get some advisors? I have advisors. I cut him off, nodding toward Kevin. And right now my advisor is taking me penthouse shopping. Derek clears his throat. Miss Thomas, as your business partner now, I feel compelled to suggest... That's exactly it, I say, stepping out of the elevator into the marble lobby. I'm your partner, not your employee. No more suggestions, no more guidance, no more control. The elevator doors slide shut with a soft whoosh, encasing us in the sleek confines of burnished steel and mirrors. My reflection multiplies infinitely, each version of me radiating success and power. I should probably get a security detail, I muse, adjusting my Cartier watch. Now that I'm worth something. Jacob's reflection catches my eye. It's not about worth, Nyla. It's about... What? Someone might mug me? I laugh, the sound bouncing off the mirrored walls. Please? I grew up in Queens. I know how to handle myself. Money can be intoxicating, Jacob says, his voice low and serious. It changes things, changes people. I turn to face him, arching an eyebrow. That's rich coming from you, quite literally. You've never known anything else. Exactly my point. His eyes lock onto mine. When you've grown up with it, you learn to respect it. But when it comes suddenly, he shakes his head. It's like a drug. The high can be overwhelming. The elevator dings, doors opening to the marble lobby. Kevin steps between us, his hand pressing against Jacob's chest. "She'll be fine, man," Kevin says, gently but firmly pushing Jacob out. "Stop trying to play protective ex-fiancé." I smirk, watching Jacob stumble backward. "Kevin, can you call about that penthouse? I'd like to see it today if possible." "Already on it, baby," Kevin says, pulling out his phone as the doors close on Jacob's concerned face. "After the penthouse," I tell Kevin, "I want to look at cars, something that makes a statement." "I know just the place," he says, already texting his contacts. The doorman rushes to open the door for me. He must sense the change in my status. The summer air hits my face, carrying with it the promise of freedom. I catch Jacob's reflection in the lobby windows, his face etched with worry. But I don't care. For the first time in my life, I can have anything I want, and I want everything. God help whoever stands in my way.
Hey, fam! I'm not gonna lie. I think Nyla deserves that money after what Jacob and Hilda and Trixie have put her through. I just hope she uses it to take care of her granddaddy and maybe give something back to her parents. The worst thing Nyla could do at this point is let that money go to her head and lose who she is. Will she be able to stay real? Or is this her selling out? Find out next time on Say Less I Love You.